Glad to have you back. And before that short break, we were talking about some alleged resignation of INEC officials as well as the chairman's meeting with resident electoral commissioners. Now, we were talking about what you make of these threats, because these all happened just Saturday.
Yes, I was making a point about the fact that there was a lot of pressure on the officers of the Independent National Electoral Commission, to the extent that, if you recall, just few hours to the prior scheduled date for the election, it was postponed. So that shows the height of that prayer. Now, what played out on Saturday, we are all aware of some videos where it's yet to be proven. They are in the public domain, but it's yet to be proven as whether or not those were what really
authentic
happened. And about some recs, some resident electoral commissioners being held to hostage by political talks by some powers that be within those states and all of that. Now that unbearable, that prayer must have weighed down on the officers, and then the call for resignation and all that. Now it that brings into issue the structure of our electoral commission, the INEC in itself. Now there's a level of validity of the argument that there's an over-structuralization of elections in this country. Now let me give you a scenario. As far back as the 50s, that's prior to independence, the elections were being held by officers from local governments at that time. What you need to do, possibly if you want to contest, possibly let's say at the state level, is to pay what they call electoral deposits to those states. Then consciously begin to centralize all these things. Then it goes to the root of the issue, which is that we have a heavily monetized state apparatus in this country. We have arguably the most expensive legislation in the world. Arguably, I'm not saying that's arguably one of the most expensive legislation in the world. Our president earns far above possibly the official pay of the U.S. president. So it calls into question the fact that competition in itself puts a lot of pressure into what we call election. And that overbearing effect has its own influence too on something. Now, to your question, which is that, what do I make really of those alleged threats? It shows you, which is the point I'm coming to, that in all the circumstances we have seen, elections is seen as a war, more or less like a war situation in this country. Almost all social activities are shut down. Education, even the vehicular movement, woman movement is shut down. Soldiers are thrown to the streets. They saw armored tanks running, patrolling the streets, because we have an over concentration of resources into the political epicenter in this country. So what I make of is that without us effectively demonetizing the political space.
But do you expect from that meeting now and then the INEC chairman taking account of all of those officials' first-hand experiences, now these massive attacks, which are supposedly conducted or orchestrated by high-profile men, do you think even having that meeting in confidence they'll be able to name, and then we can further shame ahead of Saturday's elections?
See, the burden on the resident electoral commissioners is to come out boldly and give us a clear picture of what really transpired within their domains. What that would offer us is that, number one, we have in our records, even for the purpose of it, even if they are the highest power that be in this country, it will be in our records that these are individuals that marked the election. Number two, we also have a substantive evidence with which possibly potential litigators, including but not limited to petitioners, can also begin to challenge.
But don't you fear that their lives would come under attack if they should name names, because these are high-profile individuals? So at the end of the day, do you still think that whatever account they would be giving would be authentic, not downplayed and a whole lot more? Because some have said, well, they were under duress, but when it's time to name who they even suspect, because under investigation you'll be asked, who do you suspect carried out these attacks, and then they play mom as at that time.
Well, you know, if you are under duress, Of course, there are a lot of circumstances that made it to be under duress. If you are being held at gunpoint, of course, you have to save your life. Possibly, you make statements that have been dictated by the person that hold you hostage. But now, having exited that traumatic experience, and now we are facing the March 9 gubernatorial election.
They've not exited because March 9 now. It's
I was about to ask that. How does that affect the election?
The March 9 gubernatorial election is going to even be on a higher and gargantuan proportions than what we have seen, because that one is going to be a local theater of warfare, so to speak, quote unquote. Now, as I've said, what we need to do, the task before INEC may be to redeploy some of those recs. If you rec in a particular state A and say, oh, this state, or the particular individual or the governor, so to speak, has done so and so ABC and so arts that has helped me to make a particular statement to this effect, we can have a reshuffling. But as I've said, that would just be for the purpose in the interim.
But if they speak, if they say, you know, give an account early enough before March 9, don't you think that would also serve as a deterrent? You would probably play down on the ones that have been planned already for the local elections, because you have described it as a theater of war of its own. Do you think that maybe if these people are more outspoken about these things, maybe it would downplay, it will serve as a deterrent, or, you know, maybe change of heart for those who are the key players?
For instance, that may, in any event, also deepen the voters' apathy we have seen in these elections. We will discover that in comparison with 2015, 2011 elections, the percentage of voters' apathy is higher in the 2019 election. So the records, what we need the recs to do for us, for the record of history, is to be bold enough to make those presentations. Now, as to how their safety, which is the major question, as to their safety between now and March 9 gubernatorial elections, we should equally place that on the national leadership of INEC to say, as I've made the proposal here, that we can do a reshuffling, such that you can move from state, the familiar terrain you have to another unfamiliar terrain, such that you are not a face that can be tagged by those persons and all of that. So the reality is that without us, which is the major issue, without us democratizing the electoral processes in this country. What do I mean by democratizing? In the sense that we must be able to say, oh, who are the national commissioners of INEC? Who are the resident electoral commissioners of INEC? Do we have an input of the civic community into who goes into that office and how they are appointed?
Are you still talking about security and how security personnel are supposed to ensure the safety of these individuals? In one of the accounts that the resident electoral commissioners gave, it said the security personnel attacked to protect them suddenly, curiously,
compromise, disappeared.
What level, you now said we should rely on these same individuals that disappeared?
Well, as to the question of the security, there was a debate as to whether the military should play a role in this something. I think the reality where we have come to, the reality, which is being my final point, is that we cannot place something or nothing. We are trying to take shortcuts, so to speak, in avoiding the main crisis. Let me make it clear to you. The entire scenario we are witnessing now is a display of the endemic systemic collapse of the. What I mean by that, for instance, the military that was.
Let's not focus on the military, because we expect that the police are what they are.
Yes. They're the ones who are attached to those polling units.
Look at the procedure of the election and the provision of the Electoral Act. The police assigned to polling units are not to be harmed. Are you aware of that?
Of course.
Now, that was the argument or premises or that.
But even those that went armed and a whole lot more, they were just disappearing.
You have made reference to scenarios where RECs or electoral officers are saying that those security apparatuses disappear.
Well, in that case, yes, they disappeared. But I mean, we saw is it a Qatar where the ballot boxes were being scattered, and you know, the police officer that was there. He was overwhelmed, but he was trying to, when they were cutting the ballot boxes away, he was bringing them back, but he was one man against 4 people.
The police officers and the rank and file of the military will be overwhelmed. I've told you that the police are not armed. A police officer that receives peanuts as salary, the socio-economic psychologists are, oh, I'm not here to die, and all of that. Now, what we used to see in most cases are not, is that we see the top brass of the military and the police because of the heavy fruits that want to reap from these electoral processes. Now taking sides with sections of the political elite. So where do we go from here? What is the solution, so to speak, between now and March 9? Number one, I'm of the view, is my opinion, I'm of the view that we need to have a conversation as to how our security apparatus is being operated in this country, where the welfare of those officers are not well guaranteed, welfare of those people, of even the military officers, are not well guaranteed. Vis-a-vis the question of being independent, of their integrity.
We shouldn't be having this conversation because we remember that the IGP said within this election and Presidential National Assembly and the governorship election that all security operative, he assured, were going to be neutral. So for no reason can they be excused to disappear. Whether your salary is 10,000 naira or 1 million naira.
Don't forget, there was a lot of money earmarked for security, for horses, for dogs, for police officers feeding and all of that.
Those heavy security allowances disappear into the pockets of some top brass elements in the top brass of the military. That's just the reality, and that is why we have the Boko Haram, insurgency continue.
So how do we handle the situation between now and March 9 so we don't see a reoccurrence of what happened?
Well, I mean a conversation. We need to have that stakeholders engagement. If you look at it, prior to the Presidential National Assembly election, when the postponement was made, the INEC National Chairman called a stakeholders, convergence, so to speak, at the National Coalition Center. We need to now have those stakeholders engagements at the state level. Parties and their agents and every other section of the civic society need to come forward with, because the reality is that security does not lie in, it's not a monopoly of an individual. No matter how very efficient any officer, including the Inspector General of Police, may be, he cannot as an individual, be everywhere.
Can we have any assurance? It's just 9 days to go, 8 days to go to the election. What that means is that in each of the states now, we need to be having stakeholder conferences. Let the recs of those states call the parties, call the security officer, the top security officer, including the commissioner of police in those states, and the military officer, the top senior military officer in those states, and let us begin to have that conversations as to how we are going to make sure security is effective on March 9.
But these kind of meetings have been held. In fact, there were peace pacts signed. They had press briefings with recs. I mean, all of this has been taken into consideration, but yet we had the experience which we had on February.
You know what that democratic engagement will breed is that, number one, agitations will be hard. If you are maybe where there are fears as to some hotspots, they will be made known. And then number three is that if there are intelligence information to be made known to those security officers, they will be made known. Now, the reality is that if you don't have those democratic engagements, there will be lapses as to information, and information is the key to security. Now, in the final analysis, there is a philosopher that says eternal vigilance is a price of liberty. What that means is that for us to be secured during the elections and after the elections, these other citizens must also be prepared to begin to engage the security agencies. Well, for instance, what do I mean by that? if you look at the Okota scenario, without not being an advocate of jungle justice, but we need that citizens' awareness and that citizens' engagement. So that, okay, for instance, if there is a breach of security on that day, the citizens can be able to go. For instance, we are able to see that the power of social media, people taking their phones and taking where they are totally totally paralyzed, so that they are overwhelmed by any scenario. Take out your mobile phones, take snapshots of those events, and send them.
When there is a shot in the air while you are voting or you are about to vote, you scamper for safety. So really, logically, you can't quickly.
If you look at some of the videos that are circulating on social media,
it was after the deed was done. Really,
you saw, there was this particular one allegedly done in Port Harcourt. There were shootings. The citizen that was taking those videos positioned himself or herself with the voice one could not ascertain at a range where it's out of danger. So don't position yourself into danger. Don't say you want to face the man, a person who's shooting a gun with the camera, with the mobile phone. But position yourself in an area where you are out of the range of danger and take.
But that's what we'll now say, that when our viewer out there is supposed to take such footages, safety first, but please ensure that you capture the face of the individuals who are perpetrating or in those violence or misconduct and a whole lot more. Whatever is distinct that can make it easy to identify those individuals, because like what happened on Saturday, nobody can really say these XYZ persons were the individuals involved.
The difference that social media was able to make, let's even assume without considering that the scenarios that were captured, the revelations we have seen through social media were not even investigated, but it has gone into the records of history that this is what happened. Compare and contrast that to possibly the election 1983, where there was no internet.
But what do you also expect now from the security apparatus? Because it's this same level of personnel that will be deployed again across.
We're not going to have to import people.
This time around, we've said security fell short. The electorate did not even feel secure going out there to vote. You're also saying that, well, voter apathy, we might likely see an increase. That's why we have 84 million people and the vote counts were nothing close to that. But really, what do you now expect of the security apparatus in ensuring safety?
Number one is, as I've said, it seems to be like an issue we can neglect, but we cannot neglect this, is the welfare of the rank and file officers. I'll give you an example. For instance, I am aware that there are special duty allowances given to some of these officers on that day. An hungry man with a rifle can do little or nothing. They must be paid those allowances, and they must not be tampered with by the top brass.
1, 2, 3 police officers at a polling unit. Is that still enough? Number 2 is that
we may also need a coordination between the security officers attached to polling units with the ordinary citizens. What that means, if a police officer is assigned to polling unit A, he should be able to familiarize himself with the environment as quickly as possible, and in a way synchronize with citizens. For instance, if you have a scenario, he is not harmed, and there is a ballot box snatcher, quote and unquote, that wants to invade the polling unit, and citizens take action, you should be able to, in a way, moderate the situation where there's no jungle justice, but at the same time, that person is apprehended and brought to justice.
And call for reinforcement. Remember, one of our guests was saying reinforcement, and that was
But then again, that's also an issue, because we do not have enough policemen, whether we like it or not. Even though 30,000 to every state.
You see some of these members of political class coming to polling units with their own police officers. We have seen evidence of that.
Well, the police said it's winning every official of all of them.
You see some of them coming with their own details and all that. We have more police officers, more security officers for the political elite than the ordinary citizens. And that's where those are part of the things we are talking about.
Ayo Ademi Louis, thank you so much for speaking with us. He's the Secretary NBA Lekki Forum. And on that note, we end Nigeria Decides tonight. Join us again tomorrow as we look at all the issues post-election. I am Mariana Cole.
And I am David Alabi, and we are still counting down till March 9. Good evening, and many thanks for watching.